The battle for Earth goes on.
On the heels of the most successful and innovative boys action category of 1987 comes even more excitement for spring 1988. Now in front of me you see I have the 4 collectible mobile action pods. All deploy manually. They're all designed to fit the universal pod size. None of them require batteries, and they all make a small play environment that enhances the Starcom figure play. Now I have the laser artillery mobile action pod in front of me. We open it up manually, and you see it creates its own play environment. See the laser cannons open up. We'll just move this over to the side to bring in the medical bay mobile action pod. Once again, we open it up, open up the top, we slide out the hospital bed, and we'll take one of our ill Starcom figures, place him in there. The command post mobile action pod, once again, we open it up on the side like this, open up the top, open up the gunner, and you see the guns and cannons on the side. And we have our vehicle repair mobile action pod. The ramp opens up to the back, ramp pulls out to the front, and we'll take our intergalactic mechanic and place him in there. 4 collectible mobile action pods. We now come to the next category, which is the small vehicles. In front of me I have the Starcom Missile Fox, a small land vehicle for the Starcom forces. Pod module automatically deploys and becomes a missile launching vehicle at the touch of a button. Now I hit the power deploy and the pod module opens up, and you see the missile launcher rotates, elevates, and it really fires. It has rolling wheels as well, free rolling. No batteries required. Comes with a figure. Now this is a low-end vehicle used in ground-to-air assaults against Shadow. That's the Starcom Missile Fox. We next come to the Starcom Tornado Gunship, also known as the Airspace Transcopter. It's a small air vehicle for the Starcom forces. The pod module cockpit and tail power deploy as I hit the button, and it becomes a transport copter. It holds 4 figures inside and 1 in the cockpit. And we can open up the guns here, and we take one of the figures, place him in the cockpit, and he'll become the pilot. No batteries are required, and as you've seen, the side walls fold down to form landing skids. It's a low-end, low-flying air vehicle used to transport and rescue Starcom troops over enemy lines. That's the Starcom Tornado Gunship. We now come to the Starcom Sidewinder, also known as the high-speed jackknife fighter. It's a small air vehicle for the Starcom forces. Now the pod module automatically deploys. You see it has pop-up guns with extending barrels. The wings pop up, and it has a spring canopy that works as well. It has Starcom's swiftest mini-jet ever, soars high above enemy lines, faster than any of Shadow's vehicles. That's the Starcom Sidewinder. Now we come to the Shadow Spy, known as the Disguised Enemy Fighter. It's a small air vehicle for the Shadow Force. I hit the power deploy, and the module deploys automatically and becomes a fighter jet that can attach onto the wings of the Shadow Bat. I'll hit the spring action canopy. Canopy pops open, and we have a gun that opens up in the back. It also has swivel cannons. No batteries are required. We can put a figure on the back as well. It's a low-end enemy air vehicle that in pod form looks like a good guy, but in actuality, it's an evil spy. Starcom beware. This is the Shadow Spy. We now come to the intermediate-sized vehicles. Right here in front we have the Starcom Skyroller, an intermediate-sized land vehicle for the Starcom forces. I hit the power deploy button and it turns into a defense tank. As the control tower rises up, you can see that we just open up the ramp and we can place any of the smaller pod vehicles onto the ramp for safety. Elevating guns on the side, swiveling machine gun lasers on the front, and also we have swiveling guns on the side as well. Has lots of great visual action and lots of inherent play value. Starcom now has greater strength to battle against Shadow Force. This is the Starcom Skyroller. We move next to the Shadow Bandit, also known as the enemy pod lifter. You'll see that it has retractable wings that when I hit the power deploy button, will lower to form landing skids so it can land safely. Also has a retractable magnetic arm so that it can pick up any of the other smaller pod vehicles and scurry them away. As you see, we pick it up in that fashion, and we can release it at the flip of a button. It has a spring canopy as well, and when Shadow wants to learn Starcom secrets, it sends out the Shadow Bandit to pick up any of the Starcom pod modules. That's the Shadow Bandit. We finally come to the Shadow blast track, otherwise known as the enemy tank transport. It has an extending front canopy that you just open up in this fashion, exposing where you can place 4 figures inside and 2 figures in the front. Now the power deploy action will release sequential power deploy features, closes up the front canopy, and then releases the turret as well. The gun oscillates and the turret will pivot 360 degrees. You'll see that it has roller wheels inside the treads, similar to the Shadow Raider. Once again, we see guns on the side as well. With the large and mighty blast track, Shadow may have the prevailing power on land. Well, you've just seen the new spring 1988 Starcom product line. We're sure it's going to be a winner.
The battle for Earth goes on.
Starcom!